Now it's time for Link Up. Esther Lee Leach is a fashion and lifestyle editor from Saint Lucia, who has now settled in Cherry Creek after living in San Francisco, New York, and London. She holds a Master of Arts degree in fashion journalism from the London College of Fashion and has experience as a journalist, fashion editor, television host, film and television producer. Formerly the senior fashion editor of She Caribbean magazine, Esther worked as a writer and stylist for publications covering fashion, beauty, lifestyle, and entertainment in the Caribbean and the UK. This segment, we have a very exciting person to interview, and for the first time, we're moving away from government, we're moving away from formalities and all of our governmental persons representing, and we're finally touching base with our diaspora who are doing amazing things, stepping up throughout the COVID and just living their best lives. So without further ado, Esther Lee Leach, good day, and how are you?
I'm great. How are you? Thanks so much for having me on.
When you sent me your bio, I think I had to take about 2 days to really internalize and take in everything that you've done already. So let's just take it from the top. It's Vibe Central to Cherry Creek Fashion, and of course you're based in Denver, Colorado. And let's just talk about the beginning when you and your sister were ambitious and you all started Vibe Central, and talk about the journey to Cherry Creek Fashion today.
So Davina and I, my older sister, we always wanted to be Oprah. We were obsessed with her when we were teenagers. And we just wanted our own TV show. And we were always planning, writing in our notebooks. And one day we just decided, why don't we create a teen show? So we planned and we planned. We looked for advertisers. We looked for content. And I think 2 years later, the show was on the air. So we started with Vibe Central, and then we went on to Access Caribbean, which was like a travel and tourism show, which was a lot of fun to film because you kind of make up where you want to go and make up what you want to do, and then you make it happen. So I was doing that. And at the time, I was also the fashion editor for She Caribbean magazine, May and Rick Wayne. I had a great experience there, learning all about photo shoots, being on set, traveling to fashion weeks, and that was amazing. So I always mix the fashion and the TV. So after working with She Caribbean for a while, I wanted to do more and I wanted to learn more. So I decided to go to London, to one of the best colleges in the world, called University of the Arts London, London College of Fashion, to study fashion journalism. And I was very ambitious. I didn't bother applying for a bachelor's degree. I applied for the master's program.
Like a boss.
I had all this experience. Exactly. I'm like, why not? I've been doing this for years. I know a lot about the industry already. And then I got in. I had my portfolio and I got into the master's program. And it was a fantastic experience learning in London. It really encourages you to be creative and to think outside the box. And I really appreciated and just use my Saint Lucianness and my Caribbeanness to create work in London. So I did that for a while. And then I met my British husband in London. And then I think a year later, we moved to New York, supposedly for 3 months for his work. But then that turned into 2 years, and then we never left the US. So we went from New York to San Francisco, and then we decided to move to Denver. Now we call Denver home for the last 5 years. So when we got to Denver, I took a couple of years off, and I had my little son, Hunter, who's now 4. And after 2 years, I said, that's enough. He needs to go to school, and I need to get back to work because I love working and I love producing and creating content. So I looked around the market and I decided that there was lacking a magazine covering fashion, especially in this area. So the area where I live, Cherry Creek, it's called the Beverly Hills of the Midwest. It's very fashionable. There are loads of stores, designer stores, restaurants here. It's all walkable. So I thought this would be a great place to base the magazine, and then I can grow it out to different parts of Denver. So in January 2019, I started my magazine, Cherry Creek Fashion Magazine, and it's a fully digital magazine. I really wanted to be able to make the content dynamic, add video interviews in, and just keep it fresh and modern and moving. So you can find everything at cherrycreekfashion.com. And that's what I've been doing for the last year and a half.
And anyone can subscribe and get to enjoy the content on the magazine.
Go on, put your email and subscribe, or you can just go on cherrycreekfashion.com and read it. Like the first of every month, we have a new issue coming out every month.
Nice. On your Forbes feature, Forbes magazine. Yes, congratulations on that too, doing amazing
Thank
things.
you so much.
One of the quotes were community and content are king. So what do you
Yes.
mean by that? Community and content are king. So let's
Like
expand a little bit.
I learned from Saint Lucia that you really have to go into your community, find out what's going on, find people to help you. Because when you know people, you can pick up the phone and say, I'm doing this, what do you think? I'm doing this, what do you think? And here I've kind of used the Saint Lucian way to build my business. I really hit the ground running when I started. I met lots of people for coffees. So walking on the street now, I stop every other block talking to a friend, acquaintance, a colleague, because I really went out into the community and met everybody. And for content, it's just creating something valuable and something of good quality that people want to read. There's a lot of like fast content now, but people are still looking for quality content too.
Authenticity and original stories. And as you said, another part of it too was that you wanted to capture the small business community and to find that niche, not what everybody was capturing. And in one of your podcasts you mentioned that we're so tired, we're overrun with information about corona. And was it difficult for you having to decide that, well, you know what, we're not going to focus on the corona, we're going to continue full steam ahead? How was that? And how has COVID, adding to that question, how has COVID changed your programming?
Yes. It was kind of easy for me to decide because I kind of go on, okay, what am I feeling? What do I want to read now? And there was just so much information out there about COVID-19 that I wanted some fantasy again. I wanted to open my fashion magazines and see some fashion, have an escape from what was going on, which is what fashion magazines are about. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to continue with my scheduled programming and just continue putting the issues out there and giving people an escape and something pleasant to read and interesting stories to read to keep them entertained at home during this time. And for COVID, we were shooting less during this time, but I just continue trying to produce the content that I could.
Yeah, just stay true to your branding and try not to move off anything like that. How do you bring Saint Lucia? How do you bring your Saint Lucianness, your uniqueness to everything that you do? And in doing some more research on you just launched Lee Productions, or is it Cherry Creek Productions, and all of the little things that you continue to do? How has Saint Lucia given you that foundation to be doing everything that you're doing today? And how do you continue to blend Saint Lucia and bring it into everything that you do today?
Well, my success now is because of Saint Lucia, because I've grown up there. Like I learned very early on to do a lot myself. So when we did our TV show, I took on multiple roles, and that was a good training ground. So now I can set up the lights, I can run the video, I can take the photos because I learned that in Saint Lucia. And also it's all about an attitude. Saint Lucians can go anywhere in the world and achieve anything because of our attitude. Like we're so used to talking to anybody, anywhere on the street corner. So I've used that Saint Lucianness and attitude here to talk to anybody. And people seem to like that approach. And they always say that you're so warm and welcoming. And it's because of my upbringing in Saint Lucia. It has been invaluable to my success here.
Mm-hmm. And that aspect of, we're all people and we all have stories, and it's okay to reach out and say, hi, you okay? And it's not the same in the United States where, they always talk about, you can't go and just ask your neighbor for sugar. And, we have that communal spirit. So I guess, as you say, you've been able to bring it to all aspects of your work. As we wrap up, you spoke about a lot in your podcast, the importance of the intrinsic motivation and the importance of wanting it to get done. Can you just share your message and let anyone who's probably watching this know how they can continue to work and aspire to what they want to do? And you mentioned that formation was your your song right now, and it's your mantra right now, and that has so much to do, especially now more than ever, the mental capacity, the emotional grit that you need to have. And we could start off in small small spaces, but we individually have that responsibility to want more and to always want to aspire for more. So if you could just speak to that and share with us.
I think one thing we have to realize that we're all so unique, and we all have a story, and we all have something to put out there. And if not you, then who is going to bring your story forth, your ideas forth, your content to the world? So you really have to realize that you have to get up and do something. If it means sending an email to somebody, if it means learning a new skill, if it means picking up the phone, it's kind of all up to you to start the ball rolling. And once you start it, you realize that other people sort of, come to you and help you along the way. But if you don't do the initial push with your ideas, with your new business, with whatever you want to do, nobody's going to know about it or even know that you need help with it. Do you know what I mean? So you have to kind of push yourself and know, okay, well, it's my job to do it. This is my idea, and I'm going to put it forth into the world. And yeah, Beyonce and Rihanna, my ultimate queens to get motivation for. I'm always editing in my office, blasting their music, because, as Beyonce says, just work hard and you grind until you own it, until you achieve what you want to achieve.
And visualize it and move for it and go for it. Well, Esther Lee Leach, thank you so much for joining us on Link Up for this segment of Stepping Up. I'm so happy, and I just want to wish you fortune and favors and goodwill and in everything that you do. And I know it's just a beginning, and you're now on that cusp onto anything greater things. So just wrap up by letting us know how we can reach out to you and any messages you have for your family back home. And your people.
Mommy. Hi, Jacinta. I miss your bouillon and your pigtail. So people can just reach me at cherrycreekfashion.com. My email is there, or you can follow the Instagram at Cherry Creek Fashion or Esther Lee Leach. But hi, Saint Lucia, I cannot wait to come back sometime this year, hopefully.
Well, Saint Lucia, we're here waiting for you, welcoming you with our warm beaches and our warm weather. And by the grace of God, that'll be very soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Esther. Enjoy the rest of the day, and you be safe.